What's up, y'all? Polo Sports Talking Entertainment. Um, you should know the reason why. You should know the reason why Tank is leaving and Chuck and the Deuce. I mean, Gervonta Davis has been heavily criticized for him not fighting anyone. I haven't been critical of him. I just felt that Devin Haney, when it's all said and done, he's a better boxer. And if Tank doesn't knock Haney out, then Haney will get the win. And why am I saying this? The reason why I'm saying this is because a lot of people feel that Gervonta Davis, well, he isn't fighting anybody yet. Well, what do you think that has to do with it? It has to do with Mayweather. They're not getting him the fights that he wants in order to get a decent payday, and also hold on one second, y'all. Now, he's not getting the fights, that he truly wants. And in boxing, if you're not getting the fights that you truly want, then there's one or two things that you could do. You could either go ahead and leave and make sure that try to find somewhere where they're gonna treat you better and also give you the payday and also get you the promotion that you need, sort of like what happened with Canelo. Okay, uh, Floyd. The thing you got to realize about Floyd Mayweather is that his ego is through the roof, and Gervonta Davis is not the only one that feels the way that he feels like he's getting fucked over from in terms of a lot of fights and in terms of him being promoted like he truly wants to. And I know some people are going to be biased. They're going to sit up here and they're going to say, well, Floyd's not the problem, yada yada yada. He's a big part of the problem. Tremendous boxer, one of the best to ever do it. But let's just call it what it is. Listen, Floyd Mayweather has given opportunity. I know people are going to try to come with that argument, but then there's been some times when some of the stuff that he does is kind of questionable. You know, one example is okay with the Logan Paul situation. I understand, with Logan Paul, but a lot of people felt like you could have gave other fighters a chance to get that payday instead of a YouTuber that had already got beat. He had already got beat. Um, Gervonta Davis is looking to do what Dave, I'm talking about that Devin Haney is doing, and Devin Haney is about to go ahead and embark on his journey to possibly become one of the faces of boxing. Now, I still think when it's all said and done, it's Shakur Stevenson and Deron Ennis. But Devin Haney, I think those three guys right there, Devin Haney, Shakur Stevenson, and Deron Ennis, are next up in line. But also another twist to the story too is that Tank Davis is a Canelo fan, and everybody knows that Mayweather. While Mayweather, I think he respects Canelo, but he doesn't really want to deal with him unless he has to. And I think that rubs Mayweather the wrong way about Tank. And I don't have a problem with Tank feeling the way that he feels. Tank is his own man. And also, I think that Tank is getting the impression that if, like, Mayweather is saying, oh, okay, you'll never be nothing without me, I'm all you got, stuff like that, that's not necessarily true. Because, to be honest with you, Tank is box office. Tank is box office. When it's all said and done, Tank is box office, and Tank can put them asses in the seat. You better believe that. He generates a lot of views. Now when he fought Isaac, a lot of people, even though there were a lot of people in comparison to the previous fight that felt that it should have been a draw. Some people felt that Isaac had won and Tank had lost, and I had never seen that before. Now, did I personally think that he lost? No, absolutely not. He won, but Isaac, man, he was a terror in that fight. Pit Bull, he was a terror, and he's going to be one of the ones to be the future. And everybody thought that Isaac was just going to come in there, and everybody was expecting Tank to knock him out. But Tank made a good point. He said, it's not all about a knockout. It's not all about a knockout, but people want him to be another Mike Tyson, just going in there, knocking people out. No, it's not going to be like that every fight. But Mayweather, his ego always robs him of a lot of opportunities. While it's made him successful, it's made him very extremely tough to deal with. And he's got a fight that's getting ready to happen over there in Dubai, and he's going to be fighting another guy, and he's supposed to be a under the late great Roger Mayweather, his uncle. What's up with it, for the love of the sport? I'll see you in the building. Make sure y'all go subscribe for the love of the sport. Now, we have to understand that he wants his bag. Gervonta Davis is and he's deserving of his bag. I think he's looking into the future. He's not. Listen, the worst thing that I don't want, and this is not taking anything away from Spence. It's not taking anything away from Crawford. not taking away from those guys, but I don't want them to wait until damn near the tail end of their careers to start getting the fight that they want, or even to just doing the recognition that they get. Because let's be honest, okay, at 147, for the love of the sport and two Vikings, at 147, a decade, going back 10 years ago, the three guys that they were talking about in that division that they wanted to fight each other, or four guys, I should say. But I mentioned these three because these were the guys that were supposed to be the cream of the crop. It was Earl Spence, Terrence Crawford, and Thurman. And they always wanted to fight each other. I mean, whether business got in the way, whatever got in the way. We all know the deal. Of course, Bob Arum had a lot to do with that bullshit. But they never got their chance. Now, they're still young enough to go ahead and get in there. But for instance, the whole Mayweather with Pacquiao. A lot of people wanted to see that way beforehand. Not to say that Pacquiao had a chance or anything like that, because I still don't think he would have had a chance. Not with the defensive wizard that Mayweather was. But some people wanted to see that earlier in their career. And my point is that Tank is looking at something like that. Tank is he's not a media guy, and Mayweather's going to do all the talking. If you notice, Tank doesn't talk that much. He's all like, he's a social media head, a social media dog. Like to stunt, like to be on IG, like to sit up there and talk head on Twitter and stuff like that. With Adrian Broner and stuff like that. And I don't want Tank to end up like an Adrian Broner, and I don't see that happening because he's got a superior work ethic. So Tank is his own man. Mayweather doesn't. I mean, Mayweather got power and everything, but let's not get it twisted. Tank is a talent, and to be honest with you, Tank is enjoyable to watch. He's enjoyable to watch, but to think that Tank is he's gonna leave Mayweather and then all of a sudden his career is gonna go be a bottomless pit. Hell no, that's not gonna happen, because look, Terrence Crawford should have did that a long ass time ago. Everybody was like, yes, thank God you're getting away from Bob Arum. That's like about time, even though it's not as easy as what people think. Canelo and Oscar De La Hoya, which we know Oscar De La Hoya is notoriously known for being a snake, especially when it comes to business. And people were all like, well, Canelo, he's not fighting this guy. He's not fighting that guy. It didn't have nothing to do with Canelo, because Canelo is a savage. Canelo don't mind the smoke. Canelo does not mind the smoke. And don't get me wrong, hey, I'm with the LDPC all day, but hey, Canelo's my guy. I've been rocking with him for because I don't want people to always fabricate lies and stuff like that. I think me and Monty Brown TV probably the only ones that fully support Canelo like that within the community. And it's got nothing to do with his race. I've always liked him ever since he fought Sugar Shane. Even before anybody I met anybody on here. But that's a whole nother story. The thing about it is, it's like Canelo left because, okay, Oscar De La Hoya wanted to get him to fight, that he wanted. And guess what? He left his ass, you know what I'm saying? he was getting robbed out of his money and stuff, and he bounced on his ass. And plus, he still owes Canelo money. I think like 6 million, if I'm not mistaken. Could Tank fight Canelo? Uh nah, because not at this point in time, no. Because uh Canelo's focus on unifying 175, being undisputed at 175. If I'm not mistaken, that's his goal. And everybody's like, oh well, why is he moving up, stuff like that? Man, listen, he's unified multiple divisions, a champion in multiple divisions. And um, the brother Jacob Jennings brought up a good point. Shout out to Jacob Jennings when he was talking about this. He said, "Why is he going to go back down to fight somebody else?" I mean, I think he did that. He did that maybe one time. Well, I, I know that he re, reshaped his body in order to get tuned up for the Triple G fight. But to be honest with you, though, for the love of the sport, everybody wants to see the fight that I want to see. That's going to be intriguing, and that everybody wants to see is Haney versus Davis. That's what everybody wants to see, just as much as they want to see um, what you call Spence and Crawford, which is definitely fitting to go down. Earl Spence and Crawford, and everybody's been wanting that for a long time. But like that's what Tank wants to do, and everybody's always like, "Well, Tank is ducking smoke." Man, Tank ain't ducking no motherfucking smoke. He has to fight. What is you put him in front of him, but after a while, hey, he's doing what? Hey, listen, I think he's doing what Jerron Ennis is trying to do. Jerron Ennis is the one that's out here headhunting. Everybody's like, slow down, Jerron Ennis. Da 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 da. Hell no. Nah. Look at Shakur Stevenson. He's fighting who is in front of him. He's actually Shakur Stevenson when he gets ready to fight Valdez. When he gets ready to fight Valdez, he's taking more. He's taking a lesser payday, and that's what you got to respect. Like you got to respect guys like Shakur Stevenson and Devin Haney. They're willing to take a lesser payday lesser caliber opponent. Not to take anything away from Valdez because he's undefeated as well. But Shakur Stevenson, I mean, everybody knows that Valdez is clearly not on that man's level. And that's why Shakur Stevenson is an extremely versatile talent. I got him above Haney just a little bit. Haney, he moves good. You know, he can fight you on the outside, a little bit on the inside, but he's not a knockout supremacist. Tank is a knockout artist. He's got that deadly uppercut left and leave motherfuckers on the ground. Now, here's the thing, okay? Everybody's like, what's next with Tank? Look, if I'm Tank, and he's already said that Canelo has orders. Canelo is going to support Tank, and that right there, that's the key thing to be looked at. I'm not saying that it's going to happen, but that's the key thing to look at. People got to stop thinking that Canelo is not going to do any business with African Americans because that's not the case. I mean, look at Canelo, and he does business with Hennessy, and Nas is one of his biggest fans, the great Nas, hip hop artist. And who does he market for? He markets for Hennessy. He's got to deal with Hennessy. And one thing that Canelo is about, he's about his bag. Canelo has a lot of fights up under his belt to where you don't even know some of these guys, but he took it and he fought whoever was in front of him. And another thing that's not being talked about in terms of Canelo went headhunting. He wanted Mayweather. Mayweather didn't want him. Now he lost, but the reason why I'm bringing that up is because Tank is like, okay, if you're not gonna do this for me, if you're not gonna do that for me, I'm gonna get aggressive. I don't have that much time to wait. And believe it or not, there are people like, oh, Mayweather, and you should try to work it out. No, man, you better bounce. Because what do you want to be? He's looking at the future, and regardless of what you want to think, that's actually being wise about everything. Just because he's not out there talking as much as Mayweather and saying that much in the media and everything, even though he's starting to talk a little bit more, that doesn't mean that the man does not have any common sense. That doesn't mean shit. But Floyd's ego is through the roof, man. And see, like anybody else, because I'm not gonna say that Floyd is the only one that has an ego like that. But when you got a young wolf and you got a young lion and a young talent like a Tank, you take them under your wing, sort of like what Canelo tried to do with Ryan Garcia, sort of like what Canelo has done with a lot of other fighters. And I'm pretty sure Errol Spence would do the same thing because those type of individuals like Errol Spence, he's a humble guy. He's a humble savage. Canelo, he's a humble savage. I can't really say the same for a guy like Terrence Crawford. Um, I don't. I I just felt like Terrence Crawford. He got a raw deal. Um, the promotion wasn't really there for him, especially being Bob Arum. Fucked him over out of a lot of stuff or whatever. Because people seem to think that I hate Terrence Crawford, and that's what I was telling my guy Theo. I don't hate. Shout out to Theo. I don't hate Terrence Crawford at all. I just never. I don't think that at that time his record was as good as what he said what he said he was or whatever. I wanted to see him against better competition or whatever. And he beat Sean Porter, actually knocked him down, and of course until the towel was thrown in and everything. And so I gave him the props. But to sit here and say that the LDBC is biased against a guy like Terrence Crawford, that's not true. Because there were a lot of guys in support of Terrence Crawford in the LDBC, in the boxing community. But the thing about it is, getting back on what I was saying, not to go off the topic or whatever. You know, those guys like that, like Canelo and Earl Spence, those guys are humble savages, and they want to see other people, do well. They want to see other guys, do well. They want to see other guys flourish. You know, you know, Bernard Hopkins, while he has a reputation of doing that, sometimes a lot of people feel like Bernard Hopkins could be cooning a lot, but or he has a lot of intention or whatnot, you know. And I'm not gonna get into that, but it's just that when it comes to a guy like Floyd Mayweather or whatever, he still wants the attention. Now I know my guy Hitman X, man, he brought up a good point one time, and the thing about Floyd is that he wants the payday. He listen, which you can't be mad about getting the bag. I understand that, but you want to jump on every goddamn thing. You know what I'm saying? Just to make yourself, relevant, or it's supposed to be about the other fighters. This is Tank's time. This is Devin Haney's time. This is Ugar's time. This is Errol Spence time. This is Terrence Crawford's time. This is Thurman's time. This is uh well, it was Deontay Wilder and Fury and all that, but that remains to be seen. This is Anthony Joshua. This is that era, and then you know after that era, then you're gonna usher in the other guys that are gonna come in, like the Shakur Stevenson, who's gonna come up, like the Jerron Ennis, who's gonna come up, like the Haney, and they're gonna be they're still gonna be they're gonna be a little bit older when it comes to Haney and Tank and all of them, Isaac, Isaac Cruz, all of them. It's gonna be their time to take over. Like Ryan Garcia, those guys. Those guys are still pretty young. What's up, Jason Murphy? I see you in the building. And he's got to be like, okay, he got to know when to hang the gloves up. And it's sad to say you have some guys like that just can't ever let it go. They want the spotlight. They want the spotlight. And I'm pretty sure that when Canelo he decides to hang him up and everything, that's just gonna be it. Just knowing the way that he is, that's gonna be it, and he's gonna let the other guys get the shine, which is what you're supposed to do. Gervonta Davis is a household name that hasn't been getting the fight that he's supposed to be getting. And that's why he's leaving. His contract is up. He feel like he's been fucked out of fights and as well as money. I go too. I'm not staying there because what it's looking like is like, okay, Mayweather. The only thing you see is Mayweather, Mayweather, Mayweather. Yeah, Tank got plans too. I'm pretty sure Tank got plans. He might not look like he has a plan. He might. The reason why you wouldn't know it either is because it's so dominated. Like, look at this picture right here. It's so dominated by Mayweather. I mean, let's just be honest, man. And every argument that comes up, well, Tank is good, but who is he fought? Oh, Tank can knock this person out, but who is he fought? And then what do you have people speculate that he's ducking people, that he's ducking the smoke, which isn't true. It's not true at all. And he's doing what you're supposed to do. You're supposed listen. He doesn't want to end up like Terrence Crawford, and that's not to say that Bob Arum and Mayweather are on the same wave. Well, the same thinking level in terms of how they do business or anything. Now, Mayweather Mayweather can be shrewd, but he's not going to screw a guy over as much as Bob Arum would. And so, but what I'm saying is that Tank is looking at, okay, do I want to be like Terrence Crawford and spend X amount of years under a guy in which I'm not getting the fights, I'm not getting the promotion, I'm not getting the money that I'm deserved, or do I need to go ahead and take the Canelo route and say, you know what, I'm finna bounce and go ahead and build my own legacy. And people are gonna talk about you. People are gonna constantly talk shit. They're gonna say, oh, okay, yeah, well, you haven't fought anybody. Have you done this and have you done that? But meanwhile, you and I'm talking about Canelo. Meanwhile, you get the unification, you get the belts, you get the promotion, you get the bag, and with all of that comes more hate. So people are gonna hate regardless. People are gonna hate regardless. So that's just my take on it. Like I said, Mayweather's his ego is through the roof, man. And Tank is his own man, and Tank is still gonna be successful with or without the services of Mayweather. Polo Sports Talk and Entertainment. Like the video, share it, subscribe, hit the notification so that you're notified. Polo Sports Talk and Entertainment. I get that.